Greetings and welcome to my second consecutive M.E.C.H Dragon log. If you have not seen the log that I constructed last year, please go see it for some added context. We are a branch of M.E.C.H that specifically resides in a realm with dragons which fight alongside us. They have varying levels of intelligence, being from wild animals to some even being smarter than humans. But in light of recent events, I will first cover a simple case so that I can cover what has happened recently. I will be covering cases of dragons so that you know better how to fight alongside them in the field. Recently, an event occurred that has gone under many names as you ask different people, but is most commonly called the Fusion Crisis, while sometimes being called the Genesis event, or the acclamation by other people. 4 of our top dragons were kidnapped with sparkling red vein energy into another realm, sent there against their will. We're still looking for them, but I must admit, it seems we are losing hope on the fact that we may find them. It appears that we won't find them, and infuriatingly, one of the fusion dragons, a dragon formed and 2 dragons fused together as an entirely different personality, was in their fusion form when this happened. So instead of being taken out of it and then being teleported, the 2 dragons that fused to make them were, and they remain the same. I do not agree with the decision I'm about to admit, but they were promoted to captain of our army. I do not believe in this. I believe they're too immature to be a captain, but it's not my decision, and I respect my higher-ups' decisions. I'll cover more about this event later and how it's affected communities, but the good thing is it has led to many other dragon soldiers joining our ranks to fight against what may have stolen our soldiers from us, one of which is codename Inflation, a common species of inflation dragon that instead of wings has 2 jets on their back that they use to pump air. They pump this air to fly at top speed, and they can run up to 80 miles per hour. This is their main ability, but they also have rather sharp claws they use to fight with. I will be constructing 4 consecutive logs talking about the new dragons to join our ranks, each being released a week apart from each other. But for this next dragon, I will cover an event that, in fact, did not happen recently. In fact, happened over 100 years ago. A cruel warlord, who was a mix between a dragon and a human, it being a mystery how they came as such, decided that they were above both species, and that they should be the only intelligent species, able to use both others for their own purposes, as he thought that he was above humans and dragons. He began using both sides to construct bioweapons for himself, creating monstrous dragons to fight for him mindlessly, and creating humanoid assassins to take out his enemies, covered in burnt flesh and blood dripping from them constantly. One of which is a species of axolotl dragons. He specifically used axolotl genes in this dragon to give it regenerative abilities. However, this is not a dragon from them times. Not exactly. There is a small fishing village in the vicinity of the warlord's old castle, and this fishing village recently had one of their elder fire dragons, as both humans and dragons live there peacefully, die. However, they tried to bring her back to life. Her soul was still barely slipping on, so in a panic to find a suitable body, they found the destroyed body of one such axolotl dragon, and they fused her soul into it. It made her a lot more destructive and menacing, wanting to destroy things and unable to control these impulses. But with training, we have helped her slightly in this, though we are still training her to go against them. Her abilities include flight, the previously discussed regeneration, and a surprising amount of natural stealth. One dragon that actually joined our ranks at the exact same time as codename Axolotl is codename Acid. a dragon that awakened when codename Axolotl was put into her new body. You see, acid dragons were a species of dragon created by the previously discussed warlord. Their limbs extended and stretched out to form a basically dragonoid turret that shot burning acid at anyone trying to approach the warlord's castle. This dragon was awakened when codename Axolotl got into her new body, which leads us to believe that other creations of the warlord have awakened as well, which is not desirable, and we are looking into this. However, codename Acid themselves seem to have gone against their impulses to be entirely animalistic as well, from the get-go, despite the fact that they were basically coded to simply shoot at things approaching the warlord's castle when they were under his control. This leads us to believe that more souls have become trapped in these dragons' bodies. We are trying to figure out how to get them out, but this dragon has been quite helpful in training and has proven quite skilled in battle, working in what is locally called the Summer Squadron. I find it to be quite a ridiculous name, but it's fitting regarding codename Summer, aka Summer Boy, the new captain I discussed, who I do not believe I agree with the new position of, has been put into his squadron, along with 8 other dragons I will discuss throughout the course of these logs. His abilities include speed, incredible flexibility, no flight, but the ability to shoot acid from their mouth, burning acid. To contrast with the previous 2 more complicated cases, we will now discuss a rather simple case. And going against my own words, this is not a dragon that joined us after the recent Genesis, Fusion Crisis event, whatever you want to call it, but rather a dragon that joined us 2 months after I recorded my previous log. Codename Rhino, part of a species of rhino dragons. Their abilities include incredible muscular strength, super speed, though not verging on the levels of magical, simply impressive for his stature, and a clubbed tail he uses to smash things with. He often simply charges through walls and buildings to get to his prey. And, while his wings cannot let him fly, he does have an ability which he does with them often. He can use these to get large jumps from the ground, without needing to wind up much, and crush down onto his opponents. This is a signature move of his, and he does it often because of another ability that rhino dragons have, to densen their muscles at a time, and at will. So, he can basically jump up into the air, using his wings to get extra lift off, then make himself incredibly heavy by making his muscles far denser, crushing almost anything he lands on. So far, he's been shown to even be able to crush titanium, and we believe he can go even further than this. He is quite respected among the community, but has not been put into a specific squadron yet. I am not yet given the rank of captain, but I will be being given it soon. I do believe. It is pending, but I have confidence that I will gain the position of captain. Returning to the recent concern about the warlord's return, we will cover codename Valkyrie, the last dragon of an ancient dragon sort of, code or group known as the Valkyrie dragons. Though they were all of different species, they wore enchanted helmets that granted them the same intelligence as humans. You see, the dragons that were turned into Valkyrie dragons were not ones that were as intelligent as humans, but regular dragons that humans gifted intelligence thanks to the previously discussed enchanted helmets. They have the ability of flight and axe-like weaponry on the end of their tail, which also carries over to this specific case of Valkyrie dragon. You see, they are the last remaining descendant of Valkyrie dragons, which usually lived peacefully after they supposedly took down the warlord. Nobody knows how they were specifically took down, but it is suggested that the Valkyrie dragons took part in it. She is the last remaining member, and most members after the guild had been abandoned simply lived peaceful lives as regular dragons, no longer intelligent. However, this dragon and their family had become intelligent once again thanks to the enchanted armor, and they had chosen to stay this way. None of the rest of their family want to come work at M.E.C.H, which is respectable as they believe they want to live a peaceful life after their ancestors have fought for them to have as much. But codename Valkyrie has decided to join our ranks, and we are quite happy to have her here at the Dragon Division of M.E.C.H. Our next case, while still very useful in some recent battles, is mostly content to stay in the base working for us and working on plans to take down places and enemies. However, he has also been quite a help to us, thanks to how he has helped the humans in our army. While the Dragon Division obviously centres around dragons, he has suggested to us, and was the first dragon to suggest to us, that lamp dragons, of which he is a species of, have skin that is quite hard and could be very useful in building armour for humans, as it also carries electricity extremely well. We have recently taken his suggestion, and so he and a member of the Summer Squadron, which again I do not believe that codename Summer should be given the rank of captain and thus have command over the squadron, but that's irrelevant. I just think he's too immature, not ready yet. But he and the dragon from that squadron have worked on creating armours synthetically made so that humans could carry electricity through them, both energising the people in the armour even after a long day of battle, and possibly weaponising this electricity. This could lead to humans not being overshadowed as they usually are in battles by the dragons. He is also quite useful in battle as he carries electricity through his feet and hands, but he can also burst a bright light from his eyes to disorient opponents. He is also quite a skilled flyer, though his flying ability isn't biologically that much better than most other dragons. A similar event to this has actually been carried out by a kingdom known as the Kingdom of Zarek, which we are allied with. You see, the most common inhabitants of that kingdom are a species of dragon known simply as the humanoid dragons. It's quite an unoriginal name, and there are quite a few species of dragon with humanoid proportions, but they were one of the earliest species of dragons named, and so the name still lands. However, they have a species of beasts of war, essentially, that are large red dragons with flowery open mouths and camouflage plates. You see, they were trying to create a synthetic armour of these plates, but have it fused to the skin of their soldiers. However, something went wrong, and it appears that these two dragons underwent a kind of fusion themselves, which most other dragons can do, but only if both sides are willing. However, it seems in this occasion, it was more mechanically brought on. They have some plates of camouflage, and the humanoid stature of the humanoid dragons. However, they have the flowery open mouths of the beasts of war, simply known as beast dragons. They have been quite a skilled assassin. They are working for both our city, or our branch of M.E.C.H, and their old kingdom, though they most commonly favour their old kingdom. They have been quite useful, however, especially in interrogations, as they are also quite, let's just say, convincing and persuading. They have been quite useful to us, as I've already discussed. They have great flight, surprising speed and stealth, and also quite an animalistic fighting style, which not many of our other dragons have.